I don't think I even said anything to anyone. Like I just stopped doing it because I just didn't want to do it anymore. It just didn't feel cool. It didn't feel funny. Like I just felt like I'm just like beating a dead horse every week.
Because like you were there, you did grow, you had all the success, you were there, but then you also made the decision to stop, like YouTube specifically. You know what I mean? Like you were still, it's not like your channel was going down. You're like, I'm just going to stop it now before it hits the bottom. Like you were still pulling great numbers, but you made the decision to stop. And it's like, what ultimately led to that decision? Was it just kind of like a combination of everything we just talked about, or like,
No, the social media stuff didn't actually hit me until after that. That really was just a decision I made personally because it just wasn't doing anything for me anymore. Like I felt like it wasn't motivating. It wasn't making me feel like I was being creative. It felt like I found a formula that equaled money, and I was just repeating that. Um, which my friend, not my business partner makes jokes all the time that I hate money because I turn down shit all the time. And again, this goes back to me just wanting to do whatever the fuck I want to do, like whatever the fuck that means. And at the time, I was like, you know what, this is just not like doing it for me anymore. Like I used to have this like exciting feeling and butterfly feeling every time I uploaded a video, and I would be super into, looking at the feedback and this and that. But then I was just like, you know what, this just doesn't feel like it's good anymore to me. And the videos were getting millions of views, and they were like, I put out a video and it would get fucking 400,000 views overnight, and by the time it was Friday, it'd have 1 million views. And this was like right then. I was just like, I'm done. And I honestly don't even know how I don't even know how I did that, because I don't think I even said anything to anyone. Like I just stopped doing it because I just didn't want to do it anymore. It just didn't feel cool. It didn't feel funny. Like I just felt like I'm just like beating a dead horse every week. That's kind of how I felt. So I was like, I have bigger aspirations than whatever, makes money. So I just don't want to do that like anymore. So I stopped doing it.
was that like, obviously like you didn't like doing it. So you said you didn't really time when you just kind of stopped, but like how long did you think about wanting to stop? Like, was it literally just like on a Tuesday, you're like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And then Thursday you were done, or was it like months? Cause like we just talked about, with social media built to be addictive, like obviously there's going to be some ties there, and this feels like maybe not the right thing to do. So like, how long did it take you to come to that decision?
I think that was also very progressive for me as well, because there were times where I was like missing a week of uploading, and then I would have some excuse, or I would just not put one out. And then I kind of flirted with the idea of not doing it every week, doing it every other week. But then I didn't like do that consistently. I didn't put that into practice, but I had like thought about that. I remember that. But then eventually I was just kind of like, dude, whatever. Like I'm not like relying on YouTube financially right now. And I mean, it was literally the foundation of, my business, obviously, which I would still say it is like that's the reason why all of this that I'm doing now is possible, is because of that channel. But yeah, I think that I just like, I would miss a week here, and then I would put another video out. And then during that time, I was just like, I didn't really have anyone to talk to at the time either, because like I said, a lot of my friends just don't do this. So they're not really going to understand what I'm talking about. So it was me internalizing all of this and kind of going back and forth with like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Like, you can't do these videos. Like if you're doing these videos when you're 35, it's just going to look fucking weird. So like, what is it? And I'm hard. Like I don't work well without pressure, like to a fault. Like I would put out videos every Tuesday for fucking years, and I didn't do any of those videos in advance. I would wake up on Tuesday, then think about I wouldn't even think about it. Honestly, I wouldn't even think about it, because I was just like, you know what, I'm good at this now, and that's that. And it's a horrible characteristic of mine, because I could have like and I don't even know what the fuck I was doing the rest of my time during that week either. Because like Tuesday I would wake up and I would be like, oh, I got to put a video out tonight by 9 o'clock. And then I would start thinking about what video I can do. And then it's like, oh, if I came up with an idea, then I would do whatever research, if I had to pull some photos or tweets or whatever the fuck for it, or whatever I needed to do. Or it was just like a story that I needed to write, like whatever I had to do, I would do it that day. I would film it, I would edit it, and then upload it the same day. And then I would just do that every week. I've never even done one on a Monday. Like I've never done one a day in advance. It's always been on Tuesday. The only ones actually that I've done in advance are the ones that need to get approved because there was like an ad in it, which those were a few far in between too, because I used to say no to them all the time. because they were like, oh, we need this in the first minute. I was like, see ya. Like, I've said no. I would say I remember one specifically, like sort of near the end. They were offering me $75,000. It was for some weird game, some lizard shooting game. And already I was just like, how the fuck am I gonna like come across as genuine with this shit? You know, because that's what I was really focused on. It was like, I don't want people to feel like I'm just fucking using them or like leveraging them to make money for myself. Like I really wanted to like be like, okay, if I'm gonna do something like that, we're gonna put it at the end of the video because like this is what you came for. I don't give a fuck if you watch it or not. At the end of it, whatever. Probably shouldn't say that for all the advertisers out there, but just saying, that's what I've been doing. But so I was like, no, I'm not putting it in the first minute. Like, it's just not happening. I've never done that. I'm never gonna do it. Like, take your money and walk. I don't give a fuck. So like, that's always just how I've been. You know, like I don't want it to look like I'm just over here just like taking people's money and like doing whatever the fuck I want with it. You know what I mean? Because like, I think that's very off putting. Like you have people who do these advertisements for these weird companies that end up being a scam, and then they're driving around in a Lamborghini, you know, like, and if I want to live a certain life, like I live in a nice apartment, but if I live in this apartment and I do that on the back of these weird shitty advertisements or this and that, then people are gonna be like, fuck this kid. Like he's just a shitty guy that he just like used his thing to take from people. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to have some sort of integrity. Like you have to make your money, obviously, but you need some sort of integrity in this as well. I think to have longevity at least, or to just be likable. Like I don't want to like rub anyone the wrong way. I want to be likable to people, you know?
Yeah, no, a few things based on that. One is like when it comes to like that game you're talking about, my favorite thing is it's like when a YouTuber will post a video of some random mobile app. They're like, I've been playing this all the time. And like, I'm like, no, you fucking haven't. There's no
Yeah.
way you're playing this
Well,
game.
and that's the whole thing too now, you know, with everything, like, and this is why I start to hate Instagram, is because the entire thing, like everyone's a page, everyone's a brand, and everyone's this, and they're always trying to sell you something, and it's their favorite and it's the best. And it's like, we all know this is bullshit. You know, it's kind of like when you watch sports and you're watching, you know, these athletes get interviewed after the game. Whatever they're saying, we've heard a million times before. You know, like it's like, oh, you know, they're a good team out there, but you know, it's like, bro, just tell us you fucking hate the other. You know what I mean? Like, just say what you can't say what you mean. And it's kind of the same thing with these brands. And like I said, so many like micro influencers, like they have all these things now. So it's like they're constantly selling you jewelry or fucking this or that. But it's just constant, and none of it is like genuine. Like no one is really meaning it. Like maybe a small percentage, and it's just very off-putting in my opinion. And I don't think there's a lot of longevity in that, because when you are constantly trying to sell me something that is the best or this and that, it's like, bro, like give me a fucking break here. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I never really did Instagram shit either. I would do it when I was like strapped for cash and just be like, I need to this is a good payday. Or sometimes, you know what I'll do is, the most recent one I did, I think was for the Kentucky Derby or some app or whatever. And the reason why I did that was because they, my cousin it was the company was like my cousin's best friend, or like one of his best friends. And I was like, yeah, of course, you know, and I would turn into like a funny thing, like whatever. But there was never a time where I was like, oh man, this is like a dope way to leverage everything that I'm doing to make more money. It's like, it's just not the way to scale in this kind of thing. You know, like brand deals and shit, you can't lean on that stuff. Because like, it's just like, if you do enough of them where you're going to make a lot of money doing brand deals, you either better have fucking David Dobrik numbers, so they pay you $250,000 every time you fucking say a company's name, or you better do 1 billion ads. And then, I mean, by that point, everyone's going to hate you, you know? So it's kind of like, you got to play this sort of middle ground here.
Yeah, where the proof is in the pudding with that, it's like, I don't know exact numbers, but I got to imagine the Basement Yard is one of the most subscribed to Patreon accounts on the planet.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know about that, but like it's definitely like pretty up there. I think that in comedy podcasts, and just in podcasts, it's in the top 25. I believe it's like 23. So like that's you know, that's great. But like also that's another thing. It's like I didn't really try to sell people shit all the time. And even like merch, I'm like super inconsistent with merch. So I never really like asked for people for a lot of shit. Especially if I don't think it's like super worth it or just worth their time, you know?